The Byronian Lasso Loop, invented this morning by me, Byron, and I'm going to look into whether it's already been invented, but I just thought I'd put it out there and let people know that there is this option to the existing class of knots known variously as the Honda Loop, the Lasso Loop, the Lariat Loop, and so forth. These are great knots. I use one of these every day, but I think in future I'll be using this variation. I use it for walking my dog. It's just handy for me to carry a nice little piece of polypropylene rope in my pocket, and then to just walk my dog. Usually he goes without leash, but part of the time he has to have one. And I was, after I took up knot tying again about 2 months ago, I started carrying that piece of rope, and then just naturally thought of using it as a leash, and using a slipped bunt line hitch on the ring on his collar. But I discovered that was taking too much time. Sometimes you forget to put the collar on after you bathe your dog, and all little different problems. So I had the rope in my pocket already, so it's just easier. I don't even have to think to bring a leash along. I was starting out with some kind of slip knot or poacher's loop, something like that. And that works fine for walking your dog, but the thing is with a lot of those knots is they tighten up and then they don't get loose, so it can be dangerous. If the dog runs away and the rope gets stuck under a tire or something, then he could choke. So with this, it's a nice open round loop. That's the idea behind this class of knots, and that's a much safer knot. And also I find that it kind of works similar to a choke chain collar. And little Odie doesn't seem to really mind whether he's on a leash or not, but when he's on it, he seems to mind me better. So it's a win-win all around so far. The problem that I was having with the old Lasso Loop, Honda Loop, is that sometimes, a lot of times I would just, when I'm taking the dog for a walk, I'm fiddling around with the rope tying knots. But sometimes I would just stick it back in my pocket with the loop already on it, already prepared for him. And then after a day or two, the knot would start getting loose, and it would require some adjustment. And it just seemed like an unstable knot by its nature. And it is, because it consists of an overhand knot like this that's got a slipped thing on the running end, and then it's held in place with a stopper knot, which is just also just a simple overhand knot. So it's really not very bulky as far as some loop knots go, and it makes a nice round thing. But it's not really super stable because it consists of two knots. So I had the idea of, well, it would be nice to have a more stable knot. And I had been working with the angler's loop. And so I kind of took a trick from the angler's loop. And I'll just show you now how I tie the Byronian Lariat Loop. So you start with the overhand knot, and then you go around through like this with the running end. So you're making a slip knot, but it's sort of a backward slip knot because it's going through here rather than through here as you normally would with a slip knot. Then you pull it up a little bit, you run the back of it around, and then slip that in through there, in through the initial overhand knot like that, and then pull it all up tight, and voila, that's it, the Byronian Lasso Loop. So it's nice and round, just like the Lasso Loop ought to be, and it makes just a great little lasso for walking your dog, or if you're out there herding cattle or something. I think it's also more stable than the standard existing lasso loop, any that I know of. So that's it. Be interested in your feedback, and I'll be looking into it myself. And have fun. Enjoy. Bye now.